Alright, so for this one, I want to show how to make this fretboard diagram visualizer, which just plots your MIDI notes onto a guitar fretboard. And this is pretty similar to the piano one actually, because you're just mapping notes onto a straight line, except they're going in the Y axis instead of the X. And there's 6 of them, so you have to offset them a certain way. So let's start with that. Got a couple things copy pasted here just to get started. Our world, our send object with the drawbangs, and a camera, and some MIDI in, MIDI parse, and just unpacking that so I get the note number and the velocity. So let me do this. So I'm going to start off by setting up the frets and strings. And those are pretty simple. So I'm going to start with a blank matrix, one plane, 6 strings. So we need 6 cells. And I want the string to be a grid shape. It's going to be a plane, and I have some specific scale numbers. Scale that worked out. That just ended up being a good string shape. So I want to copy that 6 times and spread them a certain amount. Doing that with jitter multiple. We're only controlling the GL param position. And I'm using the same jit gen trick where I look at the position of the cells that are coming in mapped to -1 to 1, the sign normalized coordinate of the cell. Okay, that's all I'm doing there. And if I hit that, they've spread out just a teeny tiny bit, and I want to multiply that. I can do that in here. And I think I did times 60 to get them spread out, just the way I chose 60 here because of the scale. That's just what worked best. The scale affects how they spread out. Okay, so those are the strings. The frets are going to be similar, but I want 12 of them. And I think I'm going to pick, I need a 2-plane matrix, and there's going to be 12 cells in it. Okay, and the shape for that is going to be a plane also, and the scale is going to be wide on the x-axis, thin on the y-axis, and the same on the z. Okay, so that's my 1 fret shape. So let's see, I'll copy that jitter multiple over, controlling just the position. And let me copy this jit gen over. Just make some modifications to that. So here, I just want the y coordinate. And I want to pack that into here, into the y component. Let's see, is that it? And now they're spread out. That way I need to multiply this also times 60. Okay. There we go. So those are your strings and frets set up. Here, I'll just use one bang to initialize them both. Hopefully that's kind of clear. So to do the notes, I'm going to start off by setting the positions, and then I'll use the velocity to set the scale of them to show what notes are active. So in a very similar way, I'm going to need a blank matrix. I need it to be 3-plane. I want it to be 6 by 12 because I want 6 columns and 12 rows. And this is actually going to get, no, this is just going to get sent once. And the notes were, yep, represented by spheres, or I'm using like flat circles, but that's still a sphere. And I'll make them tiny. Okay, so that's about the size I want. And now I'll spread those out in a similar way. Copy this over, sending that in. This is going to be our position for a JitGL multiple. Okay, controlling this, and I think I need to make this at automatic 0 so that it doesn't show that first one. Okay, so these are spread out on the Y. I actually also want them spread out on X. So assign normalize, get the X and the Y, and then these I scaled by different values. This is just what I found that worked. I had to play around with these to get those values. So that would be the X, that would be the Y. I think that is all I need there. And there they are. So now these are placed kind of at the intersections of all the strings and frets. And now for the actual like MIDI visualization part. So I'm just mapping the note numbers to a vertical line, and I'm copying that over 6 times. So I want another matrix that is just going to be, yep, I do want a 6 by 12. I want these to be the same because I want one value per value of position. I want them to match up. And let's see, we're going to do set cell. Set cell. And do that and that. So here's how this is going to work. Use a cell block to show it. This is going to be updated every frame, so I want my receive draw, which this is being sent from over here out of the jit.world. Okay, so what I want to happen is, when I hold down my low E, the one that would be on the E string, I want a 1 to show up here. I go up chromatically to F, I'd want a 1 here. F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and so on, increasing in the Y column number, or the Y cell number. So that's why we're using set cell 0 $1. So I want E to place a note here at set cell 0 0. So get the MIDI note number here, get the velocity here. When I play that E, I've got 40 and the velocity. I only care if the velocity is greater than 0. Right here. And I'm going to pack that into a message. Right, and then this would go in here, and then this would go here to set our cell. But there's a problem. If I hit the low E, it's 40 here, so I'm saying set cell 0, 40, val, 1 or 0. So how do I get this to be in the right spot? I have to subtract 40. And so now I'm kind of tuning the fretboard diagram by setting where the open strings are going to be. So 40, I want to do minus 40 in this case, because I want low E to be 0. Okay, there it is. So when I hold down a low E, I'm doing set cell 0, 0, val 1 when this is active. And then when I let it go, this becomes a 0, and this goes back to 0. If I go up, see the 1s are creeping up this way in the Y direction. So I need to copy this over for each string and set this value. I'm going to copy this whole little setup here. I'll align those, do that, and copy this over. So two things need to change here. When I hold down, now we're talking about this column, I want an A to put a 1 there. A is MIDI note 45, so I need to subtract 45 to end up with a 0 in that column. And I need to change this message because this is set cell 1, 0. This is 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0 going this way. 3, 0, 4, 0. This is 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, or 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, like that, going up this way. So I'm changing this to set cell 1. And there's the A. If I go to B flat, it goes up that way, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, like that. And those are still appearing here. So here's the A that's on the 6th string. Here's the A on the 5th string. Here's the B flat on the 5th string. Here it is on the 6th string. So they're shown in all their possible positions on the neck. So let me copy this over a couple more times. I think that's it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So set cell 1, set cell 2, set cell 3 over here, set cell 4, set cell 5, and then I need to change these offset values. When I play, actually let's do this, let's connect all these up. And this one's going all the way back here. Zoom out a little bit. So there's all 6 of them. Minus 40 gives me E. Minus 45 gives me A. I need, I play a D. I get a 50, so I need minus 50 here. When I play G, it's 55, so I'm going to do minus 55 here. B, 59, so minus 59 here. And then E, minus 64 here. Okay, and that's, I'm tuning it to, E standard. I guess you could tune it to whatever tuning you want. Just lining all these up. Okay. So this matrix is taking messages from all of these little setups, and it's when I play a low E, I get a 1 there. When I play an A, I get 1 there. D, G, B, then I gotta stretch this one out to E. There's the E. And if I keep going up on the E string, so E, F, G, G sharp, sorry, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp. Right, it goes up on where those notes appear, wherever they are on the neck. If I play this A, let's see, what's a note that would appear in a lot of spots? So this E, which is on the 7th fret of the 5th string, is also on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. All right, this open E is also on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. It's also on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. So that's going to become the scale of these shapes. But I need to actually create like a scale message, because right now I'm only putting these values into one plane. Well, I guess I could do this. Kind of make it, I could do 2, 2. All right, and I could say set cell 1 to value. This works. Here, I could say that. Yeah, I like that a little better. All right, because I'm setting the value immediately in this message. Like you could also do a jit.gen and like look at the message that comes in and change it. But I think I'll do that here. Set cell 2. Set 1. Set cell 3. $1. Set cell 4. $1. And 5. Actually, this should work for our scale messages. So let me show why I did that. Plug that in there. Cell block lets you look at the different planes. And this is a 3-plane matrix, and we're setting all 3 planes. So like when a 1 comes in here for this value, it's setting that cell to 1, 1, 1. So if I show here, like I'll hold down this one. This is plane 0. It's also on plane 1. It's also on plane 2. Just for instance, if I sent the message set cell 0, 0 sign at val, let's say it like that. This is kind of like what I had before. I only had the $2. If I do that, it's here in this plane 0, but it's not here, and it's not here. And the scale message needs to be like, you know, like that. Okay, so I need that number to be in all 3 planes. Okay. So that should be the correct matrix for our scale. So I'll do JitGL multiple 2, I'll add scaled, and they all go away, and then I send the scale matrix in, and I gotta send this again. There we go. So now we're going up this way, but that's upside down, right? That's not what we want. So what I'm gonna do to fix that, really need to just like invert the whole diagram. I think the easiest way to do it, or like the cleanest way to do it, is to render all of these multiples. 1 multiple, 2 multiple, 3 multiple, and make all the changes to this node. So let me show. If I take this and I set this to rotate, now I'm rotating this node. Right now the whole thing rotate. They all rotate together because they're being rendered to the same GL node. And to get it in the right orientation, I need rotate. I want to flip it around the y-axis, and I want to flip it around the z-axis so that it's mirrored. There we go. So there's E up here, and then going up the 6th string. Once I hit the A, there's an A here, and then there's an A on this open string. And so it shows, let's see, this would be this C, this G, and this C don't have. So let's say our D string, I'm not getting D string. So E, A, D. I don't see the D string, which would be E, A, D minus 50 pack. Oh, I didn't connect these. There we go. You got to make sure you connect your pack to your message so the messages get sent through. D, G, B, and E. There we go. All right, so this C, G, C, you can also play here, and you can play these 2 notes of that up here. And if I play, you know, like a bar chord shape, right, it shows, I gotta hold this down while I move the mouse around. I could, yeah, you can mess around with like the hold pedal so that it stays while you keep the hold pedal down. But that shows that, you know, this bar chord shape is, it starts on the 6th string down here, and it looks like this. If you start it on the 5th string, it looks like that, and then those top 3 notes are the open G, the 1st fret on the B, and the open E. Right, those are all the same notes. Okay. So that kind of covers it. The only small adjustment I think I want to make to that is to change the position. I want to adjust the position a little bit, because right now these notes are being rendered like right where the fret and the string intersect, and that's not how guitar works. I want to be in that space. So I want to find where that position is, where it looks best. So let's say this E. I don't want to shift it that way. I want to shift it on the Y. To be there. And F would be there. And then the E, that would be the highest we've got, is this E flat. I'm only doing inside of 1 octave. But if you adjust these dimensions, like the number of frets and the number of, to adjust the number of frets here and here, right? If you go through and you add, you know, make this like a 13, then you'd get the 12th fret. We're going from open string to the 11th fret at this point. But I see. Yeah, I don't really like that down there on the top open strings. Do I want that here? Well, it doesn't really matter. You could change it to be there, or you could change it to be here. All right. And if you get up here, then these would be hanging off the edge there. So it just depends on where you want the edge to be. But that is how you create this fretboard style diagram. All right, that's that. Thank you. Goodbye.